Join Kids Hut family. Hey, there you are. Hey Tofu, wait up. What's wrong with you? I have been waiting for you for so long, and here you are, just walking past me without even saying hi?
I'm sorry, Tia. I didn't mean to be rude to you. Sometimes I just can't understand my friends.
Okay, calm down and tell me what happened.
You know my friend Megan?
Yes, the shy one with the curly hair, right? The one who's always helping you out with class notes and assignments.
Yes.
Isn't she wonderful? I think you should also help her out sometimes.
Well, that's just what I did, Tia, and she is so upset with me now. She forgot her English assignment at home. So I did some of it for her and asked her to complete it and submit it. That's it. She got so offended. She hasn't said a word to me since then. And she won't answer me if I say something to her.
Oh, that's strange. But I don't think she is the only one who is uncomfortable with people try to help.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you the story of the shoemaker and the elves. Once upon a time, there lived an old shoemaker. He was an honest man, but with very limited money. He made really nice shoes, but could not earn enough for himself and his wife. One night, he was in his workshop when his wife came to him. What are you doing, dear?
I have this last piece of leather left. I am just cutting it out. We'll make a pair of shoes out of it tomorrow.
Is it the last piece? What will we do? There are no grains in the cupboard, no wood for the fire, and now no more leather.
Don't worry, my darling. Something will work out.
The old couple finished their housework, and before they went to sleep, the shoemaker put the leather on his workbench. The next morning, he got up early to make a pair of shoes out of the leather he had kept. To his surprise, instead of the leather, there lay a beautiful pair of shoes. He picked them up and observed them closely. They were made out of the same leather that he had put out the night before. He called his wife.
Dear, come, see this.
What a lovely pair of shoes! They are just perfect.
Yes, look at the stitches. They are so tiny and spaced so perfectly. But I didn't make them.
You didn't? Then who did?
I don't know. Why would someone help us like this?
I can't even think of anyone who can make such good shoes. You make the best shoes I have ever seen, and these are better than yours too.
I agree. Anyway, let us not get carried away. Let us put them in the display window and hope that we can get some money for them.
Just a few minutes after the shoemaker had put the shoes on the display, a wealthy merchant stopped outside his door. He paid a good sum for the shoes and bought them. The shoemaker was very happy. He went and bought food for the house. With the remaining money, he bought 2 pieces of leather. When it was night, his wife called out to him, "What are you doing? It's time for us to sleep."
Yes, dear. I am just cutting out these leather pieces so I can stitch them into shoes tomorrow.
The next morning, when the shoemaker and his wife came down to the workshop, they were surprised to see 2 new pairs of shoes on the table where he had kept the leather pieces.
Would you look at that? These shoes are even more beautiful than the first pair. Let me put them up for sale and thank whoever is helping us out.
Soon after, the shoemaker had put up the 2 pairs of shoes for sale. Other wealthy men of the town came and bought them. They paid a hefty price for them. The shoemaker bought more food supplies and leather from the money he got. Again that night, he cut the leather and kept it to stitch it in the morning. The next morning, he saw that the leather had been made into shoes again. And as soon as he put them up for sale, they were bought in exchange of good money. This went on for many days. The shoemaker started doing well. His business prospered and his shop would always be full with customers. One night, as they were closing the shop, the shoemaker had an idea.
I cannot stop thinking about those who help us. Why don't we hide behind the cupboard tonight and see who it is?
Yes, that's a brilliant idea. Let's hide and check out. After some time, they saw 2 elves enter the workshop through the crack in the window. They headed to the workbench and started making shoes from the leather kept there. Although they were making these lovely shoes for the shoemaker, they had no shoes on. They wore torn shirts and very thin tights. They did their work carefully and left through the window again.
Oh dear goodness, such kind elves they are. We must repay them.
Yes. When you go to the market tomorrow, get me some nice cloth. I will make clothes for our little helpers. The next day, the shoemaker got many fancy cloths and good leather, while his wife made beautiful clothes for the elves. He made soft shoes for them. When night fell, they placed the gifts for the elves on the table. They also laid out delicious food and treats for them. Then they hid behind the cupboard again and waited for the elves to return. When the elves came, they were overjoyed to see the gifts and the delicious food. They wore their new clothes ate stomachful and went on to make shoes for the shoemaker. Once they were done, they slipped out of the window.
I am so happy to see our little helpers happy.
Yes, and they looked so wonderful in their new clothes, didn't they?
Tonight, let's keep some more dinner ready for them. What do you think?
Yes, dear. That night, the shoemaker and his wife again kept dinner for the elves. But tonight, they did not hide behind the cupboard. Instead, they went to sleep. The next morning, when they came to the workshop, the shoemaker and his wife were disappointed to see that the dinner plates remained untouched. Even the leather that the shoemaker had cut out and put on the table remained as it is.
I wonder what happened to them.
Maybe they will come tonight?
Yes, let's hope so.
The shoemaker and his wife again kept the food for the elves, but were disappointed in the morning as the elves did not show up in the night. They waited for the elves many nights, but they never returned. Do you think they overheard us?
Perhaps they did. Elves are very shy creatures. They usually like to be left alone.
What will happen to the shop now?
Oh, it will be fine. I will miss my little helpers, but I will manage.
The shoemaker went back to making the shoes himself. His shop continued to prosper, but he and his wife always remembered the elves and remained thankful to them for their help. So you see, Tofu, some people are willing to help but are too shy to take help from others.
Yes, Tia, I understand now.
Also, it doesn't mean that you have to be angry with them. You can be thankful to them in your heart.
Thank you, Tia. If you wouldn't have shared this with me, I think I would have lost a very good friend. Now, when Megan tells me she doesn't want my help, I will respect that more.
Good to know that. Now let's go home. I am very hungry.
Tia, I'm getting bored. Will you please stop reading and talk to me?
Bored? How can you get bored, Tofu? Why don't you write a story of your own?
I can't think up a story, Tia, especially when I am so bored.
Looks like you haven't heard of Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. One sunny day, Alice was sitting next to her sister while she was reading. Her sister had been reading books all morning and Alice was very bored now. She thought for a while and decided to ask her sister to stop reading. She was about to do that when she saw a little white rabbit with pink eyes run past her.
I am late! I have to hurry! I am late!
Saying so, he ran into his rabbit hole. Alice was suddenly interested in this turn of events and she decided to follow the rabbit. She went to his rabbit hole and peered down it. Suddenly, the hole gave away and Alice fell into it. She kept falling for what seemed like a very long time.
Will I ever stop falling? What kind of a strange hole is this?
At last, she landed with a thud in a big empty room. The room had 3 doors of different sizes. She saw the rabbit outside the smallest door before it closed shut. But the door was very tiny, no bigger than Alice's new pencil back home.
I must get on the other side of that door. But how will I do that? It is so small.
Then Alice noticed a small table in the corner of the room. She went to it to find a small bottle of pink potion with the label "Drink Me" on it. Next to it was a small little key, the size of the smallest door's lock.
I think this key belongs to that door. I wonder what this potion will do to me. Let me try.
And so Alice took the key in one hand and drank the potion from the bottle. Suddenly, Alice could no longer see the top of the table. The empty bottle of the pink potion became too heavy for her and fell out of her hand. She was shrinking.
What is happening to me? I am shrinking.
Once Alice was small enough to go through the smallest door, the shrinking stopped. Alice quickly ran to the door, opened it, and ran out. She found herself in the most beautiful garden she had ever seen. But she could not enjoy it because she was so tiny and all the flowers and plants were so big.
Oh, I wish I was bigger.
Hearing her, the white rabbit came to her and ordered her rather rudely,
"Go to my house and get my gloves and fan."
Alice didn't know why the rabbit was so rude to her. Perhaps he didn't like being followed. Nevertheless, She decided to follow the instructions because she was curious and wanted to see the rabbit's house. When she entered the rabbit's home, she saw a yummy-looking cake on the kitchen top. It had a sticker on its plate that said, "Eat me." Alice was really hungry by now. She'd even missed lunch, so she decided to eat the cake. As soon as she took one bite, she started growing again. Soon, she would not fit into the house. She could not see the rabbit's gloves anywhere, but grabbed his fan and decided to run out of the house. As soon as she came out, she started shrinking again.
Oh no! What is this? Will I ever be back to my normal size again?
One of my mushrooms makes you grow tall, and the other side makes you shrink. Alice turned to see who was talking to her. It was a caterpillar sitting on a mushroom. She quickly ate a piece from the side he was pointing and came back to her normal size. She thanked him for his help and asked,
How do I get back home? Could you please tell me that? That path leads to the Mad Hatter and the other one to the rabbit's home.
This time it was a cat that sat in the tree that spoke. Alice thanked him and took the path to the Mad Hatter. She didn't want to meet the rude rabbit again.
I will meet you in the evening at the Queen's palace.
Halt. To go further, you must answer my question correctly.
Oh, I love riddles. Please do ask me a question.
Tell me, why is a raven like a writing desk?
Alice thought for a while, but she did not know the answer to the riddle.
Oh, I don't know the answer to your question. Could you tell me why?
The Mad Hatter was taken aback. Never had anyone asked him the answer to his own riddle.
Oh well, I don't know either. We don't know anything here. You can go ahead on the path.
Hence, Alice proceeded to the Queen's castle, where a game of croquet was on. The Queen was very unkind and unreasonable. If she didn't like someone, she would instruct her soldiers to be off with his or her heads immediately. Her guards had made a mistake earlier in the day, and so she had turned them into cards for the game. When the Queen saw Alice, she instructed her to play with her. You will play croquet with me, and if I lose, it will be off with the head for you.
Yes, Your Majesty. Alice was very careful. But the queen was terrible at the game. And Alice had to try really hard to lose.
Ha! You lost. If I like, I will have your head for it.
A trumpet sounded far off, and the white rabbit hopped forward.
The royal court is now in session, and you will be tried.
Tried? For what? I haven't even done anything.
You have been accused of stealing heart-shaped tarts from the queen's kitchen. First, you don't know how to play croquet, and then you dare steal tarts from my kitchen? You should be punished. Off with her head.
This is silly. I haven't even stolen anything. I just reached the castle and started playing with the queen. She looked at the white rabbit, the Mad Hatter, the caterpillar, and the Cheshire cat. They were all looking at her and smiling. What is going on? Alice felt someone tapping her arm. It was her sister.
Wake up, Alice. You fell asleep sitting next to me. It's time for lunch.
What a strange dream I had. I promise I will never complain of being bored while you read. That is such a strange story, Tia. Next time you sit to read, I too will write my own story instead of getting bored. Okay, but I have to be the first one you tell it to. Okay, Tofu? Yes. What is wrong, Tofu? I don't want to go to school today. Jim and Jerry took all the tokens I had collected for the charity and submitted it as their own. Now they are going to win the appreciation sticker. Don't worry about it, Tofu. Sometimes it's okay to let go of things and just hold on to the joy they brought you. I don't know, Tia. Do you know a nice story to help me believe? Sure, I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time, a poor farmer was plowing his field. When he hit something hard, it was a large metal pot.
What's this? A metal pot? I wonder if there is something more valuable underneath.
In the hope that he could find something more valuable, the farmer dug deeper and wider. Tired after hours of searching, the farmer decided to rest. He left his spade in the pot. And lay down under the tree. A while later, when he got up and went back to the pot,
He was surprised.
How is this possible? The pot is full of hundreds of spades. I had left only one in it. Looks like this is a magical pot. Let me see what will happen if I put a mango in it.
And just as the farmer had thought, the one mango turned into hundreds of mangoes when he left it in the pot.
This is truly a magical pot. I will take it home and use it to tide over our troubles.
The farmer went home and hid the pot at a safe place. He then went to the market and sold the mangoes. He earned a handsome sum for them. On the way back, he brought some grains. He went home and put each one of them in the pot one by one. Soon he had enough of grains to last his family for the rest of the year. The farmer called his wife and told her everything that had happened. This is a blessing. We should use it wisely to become rich, but also keep it safely hidden. The farmer agreed with his wife. Over the year, he slowly started putting things in the pot: fruits, vegetables, textiles. And in some years, he turned around his family's fortune. Though they had been secretive and very careful about their magic pot, people started noticing how they had become rich. And soon their secret was out. It even reached the king's ears.
Such a powerful magical pot should be a part of the king's treasury. The farmer has no right to keep it. Only I have the right to own that pot. The king ordered the soldier to bring the pot to the palace.
The soldier stormed into the farmer's home. And confiscated the pot. They brought it to the king.
Let me see what is inside the pot that makes it so magical. Once I find what it is, I will become 100 times more powerful.
The king peered over the pot and looked into it. As he did, he lost his balance and fell into the pot. As he fell, he hit his head on the edge of the pot and became unconscious. When he woke up, he saw that there were hundreds of kings like him. They all fought each other to get to the throne.
and died. Soon the news reached the farmer and his wife.
Should we get the pot back now?
The king was foolish and his curiosity killed him. But it is not safe to keep the pot anymore. We have enough money and riches to take care of us and our many next generations. Let us leave the pot within the king's treasury.
Oh, thank you, Tia. That was indeed an inspiring story. And I feel much better now letting go of those tokens.
Good to know that, Tofu. Now will you please finish your cereal so that we can go?
For your favorite rhymes, stories and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.